Imagine the roar of the markets, the whispers of political enthusiasts, and the silent anticipation of an entire nation as one woman, Liz Truss, steps onto the world stage with economic ideas that shake the very foundations of conventional thought. As the UK's Prime Minister, she dared to tread where few have ventured, championing policies that have not only surprised the markets, but also stirred a whirlwind of reactions among voters and within her own Conservative Party. From trickle-down economics to supply-side economics, her strategies echo the bold ideas of Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, causing some to applaud, others to question, and many to simply hold their breath. Yet, as the pound fluctuates and the critics voice their concerns, one thing is clear: Liz Truss is not afraid to disrupt the status quo. But what exactly are these economic ideas, and why have they caused such a stir? Prepare to dive deep into the world of Liz Truss's economic vision. From the echoes of Margaret Thatcher's trickle-down economics to the whispers of Ronald Reagan's supply-side economics, Liz Truss's economic ideas are a cocktail of controversial concepts. In the midst of these economic theories, Truss's policies have taken a bold stance, shocking markets and even some members of her own Conservative Party. A key component of her economic strategy was tax cuts, a concept deeply rooted in the principles of supply-side economics. This theory posits that reducing taxes on businesses and the wealthy promotes investment and boosts economic growth. But this approach is not without its critics. Some argue that tax cuts for the rich fail to significantly impact growth or employment, but rather exacerbate income inequality. This criticism has been echoed in research conducted in the UK and other wealthy countries. Yet Truss stood firm in her belief that tax cuts were a necessary ingredient for economic prosperity. Apart from tax cuts, Truss also advocated for increased borrowing, a move that left many scratching their heads. Following the unveiling of her mini-budget, the sterling fell by 1%, causing chaos in the markets. Despite the backlash, Truss remained steadfast in her defense of these economic plans. Drawing inspiration from Thatcher and Reagan, Truss's economic ideas also embraced the concept of trickle-down economics. The theory suggests that benefits given to the upper classes will eventually trickle down to the poor. Yet there's little evidence to suggest that this approach yields significant benefits for those at the bottom of the economic ladder. These policies, laden with historical controversy, have now become the heartbeat of Truss's economic vision. But how well do these ideas hold up under scrutiny? In the next scene, we'll delve deeper into the potential benefits and drawbacks of Truss's economic policies. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel the economic legacy of Liz Truss. In the stormy seas of economics, every cloud has a silver lining. So too do Liz Truss's economic policies promise a glimmer of hope. While the initial shock of Truss's policies caused market chaos and a sharp drop in sterling, let's not overlook the potential benefits these policies could bring. Truss's economic vision was rooted in the core ideas of Margaret Thatcher, such as trickle-down and supply-side economics. The theory behind these concepts is that by reducing taxes and regulations, businesses are encouraged to invest and expand, leading to economic growth and increased employment. It's important to note that these ideas are not without precedent. Ronald Reagan, a proponent of these policies, saw economic growth during his presidency, although it was accompanied by an increase in national debt. But the promise of growth cannot be dismissed lightly. Moreover, despite the initial drop, sterling did experience a rebound after the Bank of England's intervention. This intervention, involving the purchase of £65 billion worth of long-dated bonds, demonstrates the resilience of the economy and its capacity to recover from short-term turbulence. It is a testament to the potential strength of Truss's economic plan. Furthermore, Truss's policies, though controversial, were bold and ambitious. They challenged the status quo and sparked a much-needed debate about the direction of the UK's economic policy. Such discussions can lead to innovative solutions and the evolution of economic thought. In addition, the proposed tax cuts could have stimulated consumer spending, further contributing to economic growth. Increased borrowing, another key aspect of Truss's plan, could have been used to invest in infrastructure, education, and other areas crucial for long-term economic success. So there lies the potential for prosperity within Truss's economic vision. But does the promise of growth outweigh the risks? With every silver lining comes a cloud, and Liz Truss's economic policies are no exception to this rule. Diving into the potential drawbacks of Truss's economic ideas, one cannot ignore the glaring issue of income inequality. Her policies, reminiscent of Thatcher's trickle-down and supply-side economics, have been scrutinized for their tendency to favor the rich. Studies conducted in the UK and other affluent countries have shown that tax cuts for the wealthy do not significantly influence growth or employment. Instead, they often lead to a wider income gap. This has raised concerns about social equity, questioning whether the benefits of economic growth are being fairly distributed among all sectors of society. Moreover, Truss's economic ambitions may not align with public sentiment. The populace's preference for increased taxes and social benefit spending suggests potential resistance against her policies. This discord between Truss's vision and public opinion could have led to a challenging political landscape filled with public backlash and opposition. Another significant drawback lies in the market's response to her economic plans. After Truss staunchly defended her strategies, the sterling fell by 1%, causing chaos in the markets. Although the Bank of England intervened by purchasing billions of long-dated bonds, analysts remain sceptical about the long-term impact of this intervention. The sterling's brief recovery was short-lived, and it resumed its slide as Truss continued to uphold her policies. These economic disruptions, coupled with the potential for social unrest, present significant hurdles in the path of Truss's economic vision. The question then arises, could Truss's policies have led to prosperity despite these challenges, or would they have resulted in long-term economic instability? Thus, the path to economic prosperity under Truss's vision is fraught with pitfalls. But could she have navigated these challenges if given more time? Liz Truss, the shortest-serving Prime Minister in British history, left the office amidst a whirlwind of controversy. But was she given a fair chance? There's no denying that Truss's tenure at the helm of the UK government was marked by turbulence, with her economic policies causing quite the stir. The implementation of her Thatcher-esque ideas such as trickle-down and supply-side economics not only shocked the markets but also led to a significant drop in the value of the sterling. This dramatic reaction led many to question whether her approach was indeed the right one for the UK. But let's pause here for a moment and consider this. Could short-term turbulence have paved the way for long-term economic stability and growth? Truss's economic policies, though controversial, were not without merit. They aimed at stimulating economic growth by encouraging investment and productivity, a strategy that has seen success in the past. While her decision to stick to her mini-budget, which included tax cuts and increased borrowing, led to immediate chaos in the markets, it's worth noting that economic policies often take time to show their full impact. The initial shock to the system could have potentially given way to a more robust and resilient economy down the line. However, Truss's abrupt resignation, just 6 weeks into her term, meant that we never got to see whether her economic policies would bear fruit. The political turmoil that followed her departure only added to the uncertainty, leaving the UK economy in a state of flux. So, was Truss hounded out too quickly? It's a question that has no definitive answer, but it certainly sparks an intriguing debate. The abrupt end to her tenure did not allow for a fair evaluation of her economic vision. Whether her policies would have led to a more prosperous UK in the long run remains a point of speculation. Thus, the question remains, was Liz Truss's economic vision a fleeting dream, or a missed opportunity for long-term prosperity? In the grand theatre of economics, Liz Truss played a short but memorable act. But was it a tragedy or a triumph? We've delved into the heart of Truss's economic policies, unpacking her ideas and their potential impact on the UK economy. We've seen the potential benefits, with promises of economic growth and the revival of Thatcher-era trickle-down economics, but we've also grappled with the potential drawbacks, from market chaos to increased income inequality. There's a question that lingers: was Truss hounded out too quickly? Could her long-term vision have outweighed the short-term turbulence? Perhaps with more time her economic plan might have borne fruit, or perhaps it would have plunged the UK deeper into economic uncertainty. These are questions that remain unanswered, leaving room for speculation, debate and reflection. So, was Truss's economic plan a path to prosperity or a road to ruin? That's a decision best left to you, dear listener. Weigh the evidence, consider the arguments and form your own opinion. In the end, Liz Truss's economic vision remains a tantalising what-if in the annals of British history. One thing is certain, though. Her act has left an indelible mark on the stage of economics.